everybody. We're getting back to work on the International 3300B skid steer project. We got our washed up, as you just saw, and we're going to get to work on it, start tearing it apart and seeing exactly what this engine is going to need to run. I don't have a ton of time to work on this today. I worked last night and I worked tonight, so only a couple hours here, but we'll start tearing it apart. We'll try and jump the fuel, try and jump the starter. We can try the starter switch. I'm not super hopeful about that, but we'll start tearing into it and we'll see what we can find. Alright, not very happy about how the spark plugs went. We tried heat, we tried oil. This cylinder right here by the coil just didn't want to cooperate. And not sure what you can tell, but it pretty much wiped the threads. The starter is not kicking, even when we give it direct juice. So at minimum, this thing's probably gonna need a helicoil or a thread insert on that cylinder. But that's quite an investment on a motor of unknown origin, basically unknown. The fuel pump did kick on when I tried it manually, but this starter here, I'll probably have to pull it off. Looks like it's a huge pain in the butt to get to. All right, guys. Charlie and I worked on this, got the starter pulled off of here. All right, since we got the starter out, we're gonna go ahead and try and bench test it. So it sounds like our starter's working okay. So it looks like the starter's working okay. It's actually a bad thing. I don't want the starter to be the bad part. If the starter's not turning the engine over, that means the engine is stuck, which doesn't necessarily mean that we can't get it going, but it means it's going to need a little more work. All right, I'm sorry about the pulse and light. My work light that I have shined down in here is apparently of a frequency that is not compatible with this camera. But I just wanted to show you, you can put a bar on this. Let's see if I can get it with one hand. And I am pushing down pretty hard. And we are not getting that engine to turn over. And these spark plugs are barely in their holes, so there shouldn't be much compression. In fact, we can go ahead and pull those spark plugs. See if that makes any difference at all. Yeah, so we'll try putting some oil down the cylinders, and we'll see if we can get this broke free. I'm not even sure where to put a bar on this to try and bar it over, other than right here. Should be a socket somewhere, or something that we can use, something to get some leverage on it. But that's not a project that I'm going to have time to get into today. But overall, this machine seems to be in pretty good shape. I mean, you don't see a lot of rust and stuff. I have a feeling until somewhat recently it was kept inside. I also noticed when I was giving this machine a closer examination, so this is the thickness of the original arms, and then they increase in thickness right here, and the welds look a little different. And then you come down here and you can see where someone had weld and ground on these, and then kind of the same down here. And if I hop up, here, you can see that this is actually, judging from the pitting here that's not there, it's a different type of steel. And you've got some arc welding. Someone's done a nice little horizontal cap over their weld there. Maybe not such a nice horizontal cap on this side. But I'm guessing these arms either bent or maybe they're susceptible to bending, and someone plated them or welded in this, I actually think maybe box tubing that has had the bottom cut out of it. So that's kind of interesting. And that's also why I noticed this arm looked like it was red underneath, and that had me wondering why. But that's probably why. It's probably just some old box tubing that they welded in to strengthen it. So if that's a good repair, which I'm guessing that it is because it looks very old, and that's not a bad thing in my book. Actually, probably stronger than it was before. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I got to get ready and go to work. Working 12 hours at the firehouse tonight. And then after that, we'll be getting ready and going to Florida. I don't know if I have a ton of time to work on it, but hopefully by the time I get back from my trip, we will have some parts to try and make this thing at least spin, even if we can't get it to turn over. Thanks for watching. Give my video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more upgrades on this International skid steer.